Well, there is an increasing demand for ABC and Disney to fire Jimmy Kimmel after his insane comments disparaging, obviously, Charlie Kirk's legacy and literally just lying to the American people, pushing an absolute known falsehood that the man that took Charlie Kirk was a right-wing MAGA guy. You know what's crazy about this lie? There was never even a shred of evidence of it. It wasn't like they took a thread and spun a tale from it. There was literally no evidence of it. I guess you might say because his parents are conservative, so what? Everybody's parents are conservative for the most part. I mean, the idea that because he at one point in his life hunted, there was never a shred of evidence of this. And now we have Jimmy Kimmel going live on air to tell everyone that, yep, he was a Trump supporter. This is insane. And the people are pissed, and I agree with it. Let's take a look at this. By the way, our full lineup is now available for free overnight shipping at Coffee Brand Coffee. You just go to cbcamazon.com. One word, cbcamazon.com. You can see I've also put our cherry cordial down to $5. Our cherry cordial and our tangerine, that's the ground, that's a K-cup. They are down to $5. All of our K-cups are there, our ground, whole bean, everything, also with free overnight shipping. cbcamazon.com. Jimmy Kimmel's despicable remarks about man accused of taking Charlie Kirk's life. There have been many disturbing reactions to the horrific assassination of Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk. One of the wildest has been the reaction on the left and in liberal media trying to paint Tyler Robinson, the man who's been arrested, charged as somehow MAGA or right wing. I've had conversations with people on the left on X who are convinced of it, despite the evidence that has emerged in what the authorities have said about him being on the left. That's why channels like mine and like Tim's and every Benny's and Matt's are so important. Make sure you subscribe to their channels, and if you haven't subbed to mine yet, either please do. I saw a recent survey from YouGov that like 25% of Americans believed that he was a right winger. Now I wonder if you had taken that poll again today, would that number be as high? I would hope not. Certainly more information has come out. Now, one of the reasons people think that is because people like Jimmy Kimmel, here is his despicable take, inventing all reality. He also, I believe, made some comment I saw about, well, let's take a look.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing,
he states that as a fact. Now, let me tell you this. You might think, well, he's allowed to lie on TV. Okay. Well, the network he's on has a taxpayer-funded broadcasting license. I think it should be removed. Just like PBS. PBS, got their license, got their funding pulled because they wanted to be partisan. I think ABC should have theirs pulled too. The idea that he is a right-winger is bonkers. And by the way, he said this Monday night, like when we knew all the facts already. He stated this as a fact that he was a right-winger.
There was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
He just doesn't want to talk about it, Jimmy. Have you lost anybody close to you? Were you there when your father died? Charlie Kirk was like a son to Donald Trump. He's trying to do like what I did when my dad died. And so that's the only person really close to me, thankfully, that has passed away. My grandparents, I was kind of too young to really process, but like, he's got work to do. He's the freaking president, man. He doesn't want to continually talk about that. You know, he's also taking time to fly to Charlie Kirk's funeral on Sunday and speak at the event. Did you play that part? No.
Which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years, and it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
It's so vile. The people in the crowd laughing at this, you know, there's no saving them. This is why I've become, you know, apathetic to these people losing their jobs. I'm not, you know, leading a big charge for them to lose their jobs because, you know, I think more and more people are turning to YouTube and TikTok and stuff to get their news, and Rumble. But it's like, if this guy was no longer on the air tomorrow, it would be better for this country. Like 100% fact, irrefutable. This country will be better without Stephen Colbert on the air. This country will be better without Jimmy Kimmel on the air. They may have been funny men at one time, but their entire job is to divide this country and to dehumanize their fellow man, to stoke the flames of far left attacks, violent attacks, and to laugh and crack jokes. You know, I bet you Jimmy Kimmel wouldn't make a joke about Joe Biden's dead son. Did Jimmy Kimmel make any jokes about Joe Biden's dead son? How about Joe Biden's drug addict son? Did Jimmy Kimmel make any jokes about how Biden grieved them? No, of course not. Comedy, you know, shouldn't be limited, and dark humor exists. But this is not dark humor. This is a vile, hate-filled man who is disparaging Charlie Kirk, who is disparaging his legacy.
Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Ha 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 ha. It actually is how an adult grieves loss. The most important person in my life, my father, passed away. I saw his dead body lying on the floor at 6 a.m. I'll never forget it. At 9 a.m., I went to work because I didn't know what else to do. And I worked the next day, and I worked the next day, and I worked the next day, and then I went to his funeral. And then I worked the next day. This is how men grieve, Jimmy. We have tasks to do. We have a job to do. We don't get to take a bereavement grieve. I have a family to support, a channel. I have a dozen employees that need me at work, that need me to work to pay their salaries. We don't sit at home and cry into a pillow. We find maybe a quick moment where the emotions break through. I remember the one time it did for me, just blubbering like a fool, just sitting in my garage. I remember the moment. I had my dad's old vehicle because one of my vehicles were in the shop. And my dad always used to write the miles on a spot in the engine the last time he did an oil change. So you knew how many miles. And it was just that. Like, I opened the hood to put the battery on a trickle charger because we didn't know what, we were going to do with this car. And there I saw his handwriting, and that's it. I broke down in tears. And you know what? I got, and that 20 minutes passed, and then I got back to work. I'm not saying it's good. It's probably toxic. But this is how real men grieve. What was I supposed to do that day? Sit and stare at a wall? No, there's work to be done. I can grieve when I punch out. Taking off work didn't make the pain go away. In fact, working gave me respite. That's why I worked. While I was making videos, while I was live streaming, I wasn't thinking about what I had seen that morning, or the day before that, or the funeral where I put my dad in the ground. And it got a little easier, and then a little easier, and then a little easier. The other, 20 hours of the day, it was all I could think about. So maybe, I'm getting kind of emotional, I'm sorry, but maybe give the guy a break. He's working because when the work stops, all that's left is the pain. But it's funny that that's just a joke to Jimmy Kimmel. Ha 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 ha. Of course, on top of the lies, now you see ABC holds taxpayer-funded broadcast licenses with explicit legal duty to serve in public interest with fair and truthful coverage. Yet Jimmy Kimmel went on the air and told the ABC audience that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a mega conservative, effectively blaming Charlie Kirk for his own death. Then he accused the right of covering it to score, quote, political points. All of these statements are false, malicious lies told at the expense of one of the most horrific acts of left-wing political violence in American history. If ABC refuses to issue a full on-air apology from Kimmel and corrective action, their broadcast license should be revoked by the federal government immediately. I have reached out to the FCC and Brandon Carr for comment and action of this issue. I 100% support it. 100% support it. I've had enough of these people because we've seen what their fans... I don't care about what makes them cry because we've seen what makes them cheer. They laughed as a Christian man, father, and husband was taken from this planet because people couldn't bear to talk to him. And everybody sweeping for that is a vile, garbage human. Jimmy Kimmel will be fine. Him and his Jeffrey chef, right? His best friend, right? They will be fine. He has plenty of money. But I think I'm done being cool with him being on the airwaves every day, doing this. Disparaging, spreading lies, hurtful lies. Lies that will radicalize more people. Lies that will cost more lives. He can have all the free speech he wants. He can start a YouTube channel and he can talk about whatever he wants there. But I am not going to pay for the broadcast license of the network that would knowingly spread these vicious lies. Make sure to leave a like on the video. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks so much. Please make sure you're still subscribed or create an account and subscribe or follow. We'll talk to you again real soon.